Good afternoon. The important work we do at Volunteers in Public Schools to connect the community to public schools would not be possible without the support of our donors. Today, I am pleased to speak with Dr. Dorothy Kemp, Vice President of our Board of Directors and a dedicated donor. Good afternoon, Dorothy. It's a pleasure to speak with you today.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. So let's begin with you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from, and how did you get to where you are now?
Absolutely. I am a child of two educators. So I've been dedicated to education in our community for my entire life. And I see the importance of supporting schools and supporting volunteerism through supporting our schools as well. I am a VIPS volunteer. I'm on the board. I work at the LSU Academic Center for Student Athletes. So I'm an educator myself. And it's just very important to support initiatives like VIPS, not only with our time, but through our funds as well.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you said you're a child of educators. Your parents taught in public schools or at college, or where
Yeah,
they?
well, ran the gamut. My mother was and is still a public school teacher in Orleans Parish. She's been there teaching in Orleans Parish my entire life, and is still dedicated to the students that she works with at the ripe old age of 76, still working with kindergartners.
There
So
you go.
I know it's very impressive for sure. And my father worked in elementary schools, both public and private, through his life. But he also retired as a dean of education at Harris Stowe in St. Louis.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Really accomplished people. Yeah.
Very for sure.
Oh, definitely. So if you could describe what your personal mission is.
My personal mission is through what I do both professionally and personally, really advance in many senses, really advance education in the community. We see the impact of what reading and literacy and education overall can do, not just for students, but really the exponential impact on what it does to grow communities, especially in a city like Baton Rouge, which needs an educated population, a continued educated population to function at this level and even higher levels. It's really important that I put my efforts toward my professional efforts toward educating the collegiate population, but my personal time and my efforts toward educating those in the schools, elementary, high school, and middle schools right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And we at VIPS definitely appreciate being a part of your personal mission, without a doubt. So, what is one lesson you've learned that you would pass on to future generations?
One lesson I've learned is not to give up. We've One thing I always love to tell my students personally is when we were in middle school and high school, we remember being afraid of that permanent record. And once we move away from that, we realize we have so many opportunities to become the person that we've always wanted to be and always were destined to be, even though we might have messed up in the past, and even though we might have made some mistakes, missed some assignments, or not done too well in a class. There's always an opportunity to do better, and those past mistakes are not going to hold you back.
Definitely, very, very, very great point. I remember back in elementary, middle, then high school, they always told you, be on your best behavior. If you get a conduct slip, it stays with you forever and everything. So I was always terrified of getting a conduct slip because I thought, they kept like this record that stayed with you throughout the rest of your life. And I was like, oh, can't get one of those. But you can't be afraid to mess up. You cannot be afraid to mess up.
No, and I think working in education, and one thing to tell students is, we always right now we're looking at New Year's resolutions and what we're going to do to improve ourselves in the new year. In education, we have so many opportunities for New Year, whether it be the next term or so it's always just a way to reflect, look back. We didn't do X, Y, and Z so well. What can I do to improve in that next term? And it's just a privilege and an honor to have so many opportunities.
Oh, definitely, definitely. So, how did you first become involved with volunteers in public schools?
I first became involved through a project we were looking to do with my Baton Rouge leadership class of 2019. We were looking to do our culminating project, and we knew we wanted to be involved with literacy in preschool. So we reached out to VIPS and started a project where we would go every 2 weeks to read in a preschool to a class at Buchanan Elementary. And we've actually continued that project with my Kiwanis Club and reading to the same class for the past couple of years at Buchanan. So that's how I initially became involved. Then I moved on to volunteer as a VIPS reading friend. And I'm also, as you said before, on the board. So that's how my initial involvement began.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And look, we appreciate you more than you will ever know. So, kind of building on your initial involvement being guided towards these early level literacy classes, what interested you most about VIPS, or what currently interests you most about VIPS, and why?
So it's essentially the impact and it's focused on literacy. When you look at how you can really improve communities, it's really improving communities and helping them improve their literacy scores. And there are several studies, some of them older than others, but we still rely on these studies that say the time where you can really make an impact in improving a person's literacy is before you hit the third grade. So that's what makes it, I think, my interests are, and also how what we wanted to align with VIPS is because those things really align, focusing on literacy at the lower, but also continuing at the higher levels as well.
There are some studies out there that really show if we don't get the children up to grade level literacy by the third or fourth grade, things don't look too bright.
Right.
So definitely need to have a huge emphasis, and that's one of the bigger emphasis that we do have with our Everybody Reads program, is getting these students up to grade level literacy relatively quick. So
Absolutely.
definitely share that interest. So other than volunteering as a donor, what led you to first give to our organization, and why do you continue to give?
Because to me, it's a no-brainer. A lot of times when you're looking at times are hard, and I completely understand that. I've had to look at my own personal giving, especially this year, and make some adjustments. But when you're looking at where your dollars go to impact real people versus administrative funds versus those things, and what the mission of the organization is, giving the VIPS is really, it's a no brainer for me. I can see the financial impact of the organization on a daily basis. VIPS is providing books to students in schools. They're providing math kits for math friends to work with in their sessions. They're providing support for educators in the schools. And when I really got involved with VIPS, it really seeing that you guys are putting your money where your mouth is, and really supporting the schools in our community, and the children in our community and the students in our community are really seeing the benefit of all of the financial support that you guys receive.
Oh, appreciate that. Appreciate that. We do what we can.
Yeah.
They're definitely trying. So, and you just kind of build upon that. So, Volunteers in Public Schools' mission is to foster student success and to build support for public education. So, how would you describe our mission, and what does the mission mean to you?
So our mission at Volunteers in Public Schools is to make sure that we are not only providing the programs that we provide through Reading Friends, Math Friends, and Partners Through Education, but also the conduit from the community members to the schools who want to support the schools, whether it be monetarily or whether it be through their time or one-time support or continuous support as well. So that's how I see the mission of Volunteers in Public Schools. It's really making that connection through community members who want to give of themselves, and finding those community members who want to give of themselves, and connecting them to schools that could use those resources.
Awesome, awesome. And quick shout out to our volunteers. You guys are truly, truly appreciated. The work that you do is phenomenal, and the impact you have just really can't be put into words. So quick shout out to our volunteers. We love you guys.
Absolutely.
So moving on from that, more focused towards East Baton Rouge Parish School System itself. What are your current thoughts on the state of public education in East Baton Rouge Parish?
Well, I would not be telling the truth if I didn't say that there can definitely be some improvements made on the services that we're providing to our students. We're at all over the nation. We're hearing of just a crisis in with educators. Educators are burnt out. We're looking for talent to support our students. We are looking for support for our schools, whether it be teachers, administration, community, parents. And for me, I really think that the solution to improving our schools is really a pronged approach from all those entities. But I think where we come in is that community approach and showing that we as a community, I don't have children. I don't have children at all. So I definitely don't have children in the public school system. But understanding that advancing our schools is going to make an impact in our community, whether or not I have children who are benefiting from the services that our East Baton Rouge Parish Public Schools provide. It's going to make sure that we have educated people to fill the jobs that we are so desperately looking to keep in Louisiana. It's going to advance our economic development. It's going to advance our crime rates. It's just focusing on schools to me and really making sure that we're making the improvements that we can make is just going to prove to be huge in advancing Baton Rouge overall.
Perfect, perfect. And I agree wholeheartedly with that. In fact, the next question I had for you is going to be, why should local communities be more involved in public education? But I mean, you definitely just hit that one out of the park.
Yeah,
I also believe it's in order to better improve our education system, it's going to take a lot of effort from the community, from local businesses, and we really have nothing but everything to gain from doing it.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I agree wholeheartedly with you. And to that point, why is volunteers in public schools so important to our schools and communities?
We provide the support that schools may not otherwise have if not for our organization. We bring ready, willing, capable volunteers into the schools to do, we mentioned the Reading and Math Friends programs, which are tutoring programs that focus on literacy and math literacy as well on elementary school levels. But we also do development programs on a high school level. These are programs that our schools will not see. They don't necessarily have the funding for or the manpower for. I just mentioned the educator shortage that the country is going through right now. So what we're able to do is bring trained volunteers into those spaces to really make a difference on the individual level with those schools. So when we look at the macro level, which I think we talked about why it's so important to support schools overall, but if you can bring relief to one educator in a school on a weekly basis where they know that they have people coming in and really supporting them and they have the community support, that is also so as important, just as important as those macro level initiatives that we talked about. Because our teachers need to feel supported. And that's something I think we've heard, not in East Baton Rouge, just in East Baton Rouge, but in over the entire country. Our teachers need to be supported, and providing that community support is so critical for our teachers and our educators.
Oh, definitely. Without a doubt, you hit the nail on the head right there. So, I mean, my mom personally, she's a teacher as well, and I don't think people truly understand how much work educators actually do on a daily basis.
Not at all.
You know,
Yeah, it's like it's definitely not a 9 to 5 at all. My mom asked me, and I'm sure a lot of other educators are in the same place. And this is another way that BIP steps up. My mom asked me for a Christmas present to provide supplies for her students.
mhm.
That is asking for her students, for her presents from me, her daughter, for Christmas. And a lot of our educators are in the same place. And that's where VIPS can step up. We're the ones asking teachers, what is the need in your classroom today? You're the expert. What do we need? And we go out there and provide those for those teachers.
Right, right. So when you encounter people that come up to you and they might say something like, "Well, VIP sounds nice, and I do have the free time, or I do have a little bit of extra, cash in my monthly budget, but I'm just not really sure if it should be devoted to VIPs." What would you say to those people who are contemplating becoming VIPs volunteers and or VIPs donors?
Come out and give me 30 minutes. Give me 30 minutes of your time. Let me show you what reading friends do. Let me show you what math friends do. Let me allow you to talk to some of the teachers that are benefiting from and the administrators that are benefiting from the programs that we provide, and just how that impact exponentially helps with the schools that we're in. That's
Uh,
it. I think we need to see it. It's such a small commitment of time, and in terms of donations, give what you can. Um, like I said before, times are tough. We understand that, but if you have a couple extra dollars every month to give, or a one-time donation, your money is going to go to great use by supporting vets.
Awesome, awesome. Well, look, I really appreciate your time today. I think it's a giant understatement when I say that you make the staff and the board at VIPS proud of you beyond belief.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I enjoy my time with you guys as well.
Perfect. Well, any last words, anything that you'd like to leave with everybody real quick?
Just a call for action. Just come on out, see what we can do, and give of your time, give of your funds. If you don't have the time, send some people your way as well, our way as well. We'll be excited to have you.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Kemp, so much for your time today. Really do appreciate it. You mean the world to us.
Thank you so much.